Hello and welcome to the very first edition of Two Vets Talk Pets. I'm Dr. Robbie Anderton. I'm joined by my best mate in the world, Lewis Kirkham. How you going, Lewis?
Good, Robbie. How are you, mate?
I'm great, thank you, mate. We've been talking about doing this for a while, and here we are. We're sitting outside a public library, looking out over a beautiful vista of grass and blue skies and sunshine because we couldn't find a room inside the library to do this, so we're doing it out in the great open world. So
it's a gorgeous day, mate. There's a bit of wind about, but it's obviously certainly won't be blowing the hair on my head, but it is a lovely day.
I just had my haircut.
Oh, and it's a fine looking haircut there too, Robbie. You've got going on, mate. But look, we're not really here to talk about each other's follicular abilities or not. Certainly we're here to talk to you guys a little bit about your pets and provide a bit of information from a veterinary perspective.
And have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Have a bit of fun. Light-hearted look at the stuff that we do. We've been doing it for a while, and have a bit of a laugh.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. Have a bit of a crack at whatever's going on in our world, which I guess brings us to the start, mate. How's your week been?
It's been a good week. We've had some interesting things happening at work. We've had a run of animals eating stupid things, Lewis.
Yeah?
Yes. Yeah. We had a couple of weeks ago, had a dog that Saturday morning came in, young.
Always the weekend.
Always a Saturday morning, yeah. And a young golden retriever who hadn't eaten for like a day and a half.
Yeah,
So foreign body until proven otherwise.
Yes.
So we've x-rayed this dog, and his stomach is just full of something. So we went in there and we found a tea towel.
Oh, so you did surgery?
We went in there and opened him up, and found a tea towel and a pair of undies as well.
Really?
Yes.
That's quite a mix. You're sort of mixing the bathroom and the kitchen there, aren't you?
Yeah,
I wonder where you find those. Oh, I suppose maybe the laundry.
Maybe the laundry basket, yes.
But it's not usual sort of pairing that maybe your socks and jocks you'd think, but...
You wouldn't have thought he's taken them from the cupboard, from the same drawer in the cupboard, would you? I mean, you'd probably try and keep those a little bit separate, but
I think so. Well, the thing that's on everyone's minds, on my mind, is... Are we talking clean or dirty jocks here? What do you think?
To be honest, once they came out of the dog's tummy, they weren't looking all that... They weren't ready to go. They weren't ready to go back into general circulation.
Right. They weren't like them in the packet still. So
no, not in the packet. Not in the packet. But interestingly, when you say packet as well. So again, there's this run of dogs that eat silly things. We had a dog that ate a peach pip. Right?
Yeah.
And so we're lucky enough that we could make that dog vomit and get the peach pip back up. Took it 3 shots, but it got it up.
Yes.
The next day, we had a dog that ate, the little, in your meat trays, the little absorbent pad.
That's a common one.
Because it's just all nice and meaty, Lewis, and it's there and it's juicy. And so the dog ate one of those, and so we managed to get it to bring that up too. So.
Well, certainly, yeah. Well, I mean, I've had quite a few dogs that have eaten sort of things in the past, and one that comes to mind is the silicon cupcakes that like the patty pan sort of things we call them, that you put your cupcakes in to cook them in the oven.
Yes, yeah.
And the dog had eaten a whole sort of tray of those. And
the entire tray of the cupcake cups.
Yeah.
No cupcakes.
Yeah.
Just the
Well,
cups.
I don't know. The cupcakes have been digested, I imagine, but the silicon cups, and I could feel them. You could feel. I was like, what's that in that dog? And of course, when we went in surgery-wise, that's what we found.
Wow! So you felt the silicon cups that you put in the oven, not the. I thought you meant in the little patty pans.
Yeah,
that you
they
cook
like
them in.
the patty pans. It's I'm not a big chef myself.
Really?
But from what they tell me and what I look like was they're like the patty pans, but they're made of silicon, so they're like a rubber sort of, maybe a reusable patty pan.
Yeah, gotcha. I understand. Good for the environment.
Yeah, well, that's right, exactly. And just I don't really remember that when I used to have my chocolate crackles, but obviously some sort of new invention that's come along, I think. Yeah.
Were you a chocolate crackle guy, or do you remember when we were kids and you'd always have your school fates? You'd either have people make the chocolate crackles, there'd be your honey joys, right? Which is the only reason why we ever had cornflakes in our cupboard was for honey joys. But sometimes people's mums would make those what look like little hockey pucks of like hard toffee.
Oh, the toffee,
yes.
And it lasts for days.
It lasts for days, yes.
I certainly wasn't a big honey joy man. I mean, it sticks in your teeth.
Yeah.
And you're always like, I've got to get that out. So,
yeah.
But I suppose you're So it might be slightly better than your toffee that'll pull out your teeth.
Yes,
I suppose,
yeah.
whereas the other one will stick in your teeth. So.
One of my nurses the other day made chocolate crackles for us. It was fantastic.
You work in an amazing place.
Afternoon tea.
That's great.
Tea. Janie, she's come in and go, look, you've been working hard, have a chocolate crackle.
Wow.
You're fantastic.
Wow, lovely. All right, look.
Dynamite.
Look, we could rabbit on all day about this sort of stuff, Rabbit. But perhaps let's bring it back. There are a few topics we wanted to discuss today, wasn't there? I mean,
absolutely.
What
do you got for me? What do we got?
We're going to have a bit of a chat about maybe socialisation of dogs is a really important aspect. I mean,
why is it important?
Well, it's important because obviously, I've done a further degree in animal behaviour.
Yeah.
And a lot of the animals I see are because they haven't had that early socialisation.
Yeah.
Socialisation in dogs is about getting some really good experiences and mixing with lots of different people.
Yeah.
Lots of different dogs of all different ages before they're about 3 months of age.
Why is it so important for them to hit it at that time?
Yeah, if you have a dog that you don't socialise at all up until maybe 3 or 4 months of age,
yeah.
They actually come out in the real world and they see a person and they're genuinely scared of that person.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't have the ability to adapt. It's been that socialisation period's closed over. When they're in the socialisation period, they can see that person. And the brain is more adaptable to accept what they're seeing.
Yeah.
And they can grow up to be sort of much well-rounded, dog and
more accepting of different things that they're seeing.
Right on. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, in your clinic, do you have recommendations for socialisation of puppies, how to get them out and about, or?
Yeah, for sure. So we've got a puppy class run by one of our nurses. So
yes.
So we try and get them in as early as we can.
Yes.
And sometimes people are a little bit worried about the safety of that, about doing puppy classes with puppies if they haven't been fully vaccinated.
Yes.
And I was saying, look, it's at the clinic, so it's fine.
So we're talking about parvovirus, obviously.
Parvovirus is one of the big ones. Absolutely, yeah. And while there's other ones that we might cover at a later date, parvo is really the big one. That's the one that's still there, and if your dog gets it, it is decimating.
Yes.
But, so at the vet clinic, the risks are very, very low, but you're also amongst other puppies that are at the same vaccination status and the same immunological status. They're the same age. They've always had their first puppy vax, and we usually try and get them in to do that puppy class at preferably around that 10 to 12 week mark. Or less, geez, I'm happy for puppies to come in for puppy class as often as they want because I think it's just so important and it's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah. I think you got to get them in for early as you can. Like puppies starting puppy class at 8 weeks is ideal, really. Yeah. And then having 3 or 4 classes, that means by the time they're 12 weeks of age, one a week, they've spent 4 days or 4 sessions with other similar age pups. But I think socialisation is also, and it does depend on the area you're in. I mean, we're Aussie vets, we're both from Melbourne, and certainly, where I work in a city, the risk of parvovirus is really, really low. So I recommend people take their dog out, for walks is fine, but just avoid nature strips and dog poo.
High risk areas.
Don't go to your dog park. Don't go to your off-lead, beach, dog beach. Areas that and then you can get them out, and if it's a cute puppy and you're walking down the middle of Melbourne, everyone's going to stop and say hello, and then the dog's having hopefully some good interactions with people. Good interactions with people. They're hearing noises, they're seeing things, they're experiencing all that stuff, but fairly safe. I'm fairly similar. I'm in the sort of the Middle Eastern suburb, not Middle East suburbs, but you're in Baghdad, mate. Welcome, Robbie, coming in. I've just flown in from Damascus. Out around Monash Council Way. So again, there's. So Lewis alluded to it before, the parvovirus. Parvovirus, it's a nasty virus that's spread in feces, isn't it? Yeah, so it's fecal oral, we call it. Fecal oral. Lovely way to think about it. Yes, often the way that people describe my conversations a lot of the time, Lewis. But anyway, that's another story for another day. I'm sure the listeners will get to hear that. So the big thing is you want to be trying to avoid those areas because
areas where dogs of unknown vaccination status or places where there is a high risk of dogs carrying the parvovirus, that is the spot where your puppy is going to be more at risk. So, as Lewis said, we are lucky where we practice that the rates of parvovirus around there are quite low. But there are other places where people probably don't vaccinate their dogs as much, where the risk is going to be higher, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I think, often in the country areas, before you do socialise your dog, make sure you talk to your vet.
Talk to your vet, absolutely.
About what they recommend for that area.
Risks,
we're going worldwide here, so there could be, obviously your vet in America is going to say something different to your vet in the UK, to your Aussie vet. So really important to find out what's locally going to affect your animals.
Because there are vaccines there to try and help to protect your dog against parvovirus. So talk to your vets. There are different options. So some of them being early release ones. So talk to your vets, see what they have available, see what their advice is, and also what your pet's risks are as well. Because the worst thing you want to have happen is your dog to get sick. But that's parvovirus, and that's the topic again, for we can cover it in more depth later on. But as far as socialisation, Lewis, you were saying about the window closing. So the window closing, it's sort of that 3 months. 3 months.
3 weeks to 3 months. Yes.
Window closed, done, or can you still? Because I always hear about neuroplasticity. Can you still expose them to new things? And
Neuroplasticity. That's a big word.
That's early on.
Neuroplasticity. Yeah, right. So
throw the right bowler down early.
No, good. So look, we do say 3 months is the cutoff. In some dogs, it extends a little bit further. And we do recommend regular socialisation as long as the dog's enjoying it throughout their life. So not saying, 3 months that finishes and that's it. It is about, continually providing opportunities for the dog to socialise if it's comfortable in doing that.
Yeah.
There's nothing like taking a dog out to socialise when it's like, I just want to hang around at home. I just want to watch TV.
Yes, I'm not an outdoor type.
Yeah, I'm a big Game of Thrones kind of dog. And just put me down there.
The White Walkers. I just want the White Walkers.
See, now you're talking to someone who doesn't watch Game of Thrones. That's okay. I just put that in. But White Walkers.
White Walkers, absolutely. Yeah.
Everyone out there knows it, and so the other 1% like me doesn't. We'll talk about that later.
Well, it's interesting. One of the things you said there I want to drill down on was where you were saying about looking like they're enjoying it. Now, on the weekend, I went camping away with the kids, and there was someone who had 2 big dogs and another guy who had a smaller dog, like a Kelpie Crossy kind of dog.
Yep.
And so the owner of the Kelpie Cross dog wanted his dog to come and play with these 2 big dogs. Now, that Kelpie Cross dog, I saw it from across the river, had its ears back, it was pulling back, it was working as absolutely hard as what it could to, snagglepuss at exit stage left, So, and it made me think, gee whiz, what I know what they are, but run us through some of the other signs of a dog that is not enjoying an experience. Because you might be out trying to do the right thing, socialising your dog, but if that dog's getting stressed out, could you be doing them harm by exposing them?
Definitely. If you're taking the dog to the park and you find they routinely don't want to interact with the other dogs, or they're routinely getting in fights with other dogs, that's real red flags. Most owners can tell that whether or not, most owners can, some owners can't, whether their dogs are enjoying that park experience. If you're going to the park and they just hang around you, they're saying, I don't want to interact with those other dogs, then it's probably better to say, look, maybe it's better we go to an area where it's a bit quieter, where there aren't other dogs. You can look at subtle signs like licking their lips is a sign of anxiety, or yawning is a sign of anxiety.
Yeah.
But, most owners are often fairly well in tune to what their dog's saying to them. And I think certainly like this dog across the river, if they're putting the stoppers on and they're saying, no, I'm not going there, don't drag them into that situation. It's a bit like, some of us go to a party and we just want to stand on the outskirts of the party and watch what's going on. Then other of us want to get on the dance floor and be in the middle of everything. So certainly know you're one of those, Robbie. I've seen you break a few moves at conferences. So.
There's a good reason why I've got a John Travolta style Saturday Night Fever jumpsuit. Close at hand, Lewis.
This is early on bringing this up.
Absolutely. It's because I can fold it up tight enough. I've got it tucked into the front pocket of my bag. It's fantastic. You know?
It's good to get these proclivities out there now. Oh, right.
No, that's right.
Yeah, bring some
I need to work on my vocal cords a little bit more. I'm going to try and get the Bee Gees style high notes there, Lewis. Well, I didn't come prepared for that. I got the suit, but not the vocal style.
So yeah, the individual dog thing,
Yeah.
So, just like people, I suppose.
Well, that's what it is, isn't it? I mean, not everyone likes to. Not everyone likes to go to the MCG when there's 100,000 people there because they don't like crowds. They don't like noise. You know, and if you were to put them into that situation, they're probably not going to like it. You know, and I guess the big thing then for dogs. Because dogs don't have the ability of being able to say, I don't want to be here, or be able to say, I feel stressed out, they have to react. And unfortunately, they often react, protection-wise, by using their teeth.
Yeah, well, often it's just about creating personal space, really. So, the dog that's scared in the park might initially be backing away from the other dogs, trying to get away, and then those dogs don't listen, they keep coming, and maybe we might bark at those dogs, and that might help keep the distance. But then maybe they're still coming, and then we learn that maybe if we give a bit of a bite, then that other dog goes away. Or maybe, and then often from that it can escalate to where if I get in the first bite and I'm offensively aggressive, I go and bite the other dog straight up, then that sort of means that distance is created straight away because people come and separate us. And there's a whole lot of interplay of emotions and hormones and adrenaline, those sort of things can really sort of take off in a park, a dog park environment that for some dogs just makes it a nightmare.
Yes, So socialisation, have you got like an easy five big things to be looking for, or to make sure, 5 ways of trying to make sure you socialise your dog, and particularly when they're young. We'll sort of keep it narrow for puppies. What are some things you should really?
Oh, that's a tough one there. Yeah, top 5 hits. I guess
do it.
Yeah, it's just being aware. Being aware. Getting them out, like we talked about, depending on where you are and your vet's recommendation. Puppy school, I think, is really important. A well-run puppy school. We're not talking. There can be different sorts of puppy schools. There can be your all-in-brawl puppy school where they're just there and it's a
free for all
bit. Which doesn't really work for your timid puppy. It might work for your big bully.
Yes.
Bully type dog. Not a breed bully, but a dog that is a bully.
Yes, that's an extrovert.
Can sort of take over and and be on top of all the other dogs, or not on top in a top dog. Jeez, I'm really mixing words
mixing the metaphors.
Anyway, so look, puppy
it's like
school,
you're baking cupcakes.
I might have eaten a few. Top 5. Look, vaccination's important. Make sure they're up to vaccination. And just getting them out and about. If you've got friends or family's dogs that are vaccinated, go and visit them.
Yes,
go and say good day. It's a good time to visit them. Don't hold back just because you think, it's not a good time. I haven't got time this weekend. It really is important for your dog to sort of do that.
And I guess the other thing then is listen to your dog. Listen to him. And if you think that your dog's got, if you think, hang on, I wasn't expecting my dog to be doing this. Go and talk to someone about it. Don't think, it'll grow out of it. Don't think things are going to get better.
Yeah, exactly. If your dog's really timid and it's still young, then they won't necessarily grow out of that shyness. It is something that often you need to work on and actually the earlier you get onto it, the more chance you've got of turning your dog around to become a more proactive, socialised dog. Definitely. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So socialisation. It's not just a catchphrase. You really got to concentrate on
something's really important,
and so important early on too. It's something that you've got to work hard at it early. Talk to your vet about socialisation. Really important stuff.
Yeah. Alrighty. So look, I think that's probably enough of talking about socialisation. It actually brings up something totally unrelated that that actually happened to me about a month or so ago. I mean, I don't know about you, but do you sort of get a lot of little possums, baby possums at a certain time of the year brought into the clinic, or
particularly in the hot weather.
Right. So I mean, we have baby possums every now and then, and the nurses love taking them on. I've taken a couple on. We had old Dusty Martin was with us for about 4 or 5 months before he was
tattoos everywhere.
Yes. Strangely enough, that's how he got his name.
Big all up on his neck and everything.
And then the next one that came along was old Meatloaf. He was a little bit on the larger side.
Was he?
voice was a bit poor.
Used to be better.
Yeah, exactly.
Used to be better.
He used to have a great voice.
Fantastic.
Not so much in his later years.
Right.
So we've had a few possums and that sort of thing.
Well, that's right. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So we had this. So we get possums brought in. The usual routine, and nurses go out, and these lovely ladies from I suppose they're from Toorak, these old ladies. Going to the front desk. We've found this gorgeous possum that's been playing around. Found it in the backyard, and we've brought it into the house, and for the last week we've sort of been feeding it. It's quite docile little thing. It's been up on our shoulder, and we've been giving kisses to it. And,
yes.
Loving it, and it's eating the fruit, and it's just such a friendly little thing. But we thought we should bring it into the vet to have a look at it.
To get it checked.
Yeah, have it checked.
Make sure it's okay.
Yeah, so the nurse if I could just have a look in the shoebox and just check.
Check the possum out.
No, we'd rather the vet came and. All right, so up I get. Go at the
Dr.
front.
Lewis to the rescue.
Exactly. I know more than the nurses about this for sure. So
I know all about possums.
Walk out, and we go at the front, and they give me the story about they've been feeding it and kissing,
running up and kissing.
Yeah. And so I go to the front counter, and I lift up the lid. Yep, that's a rat. And I've never seen 2 ladies make headway out the front door as quick as possible.
Just take off.
Gone.
Oh,
did you want
your shoebox?
Hello?
What about the little possum?
I know. So,
no.
Classic. So I don't know the rat. Obviously, been quite friendly. They've been happy to feed it for the week or so. And, quite an unfortunate occurrence.
Oh, no. Or whether or not they got out and they go, I told you it wasn't a possum.
Yeah, it's all right.
Well, you should have said.
We need to sterilise ourselves.
Quick. Let's just put our heads. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Scrub. I can scrub and scrub and never be clean.
That was quite funny. So do you get much wildlife brought in?
Yeah. We get the possums brought in the hot weather. They fall out of the trees. We haven't had as bad a year for it this year as what we've had.
Yeah,
you remember a couple of years ago when in Victoria we had the Black Saturday fires.
Terrible fires.
So this time of the year it got really, really, really dry. The possums were literally just falling out of the trees.
Yeah.
People were bringing in multiples a day. And, tried to save the ones you could, and unfortunately, sort of look after humanely the ones that couldn't. But we haven't had as many through this year.
Yeah.
Certainly none that of a more sort of ratty style persuasion. Because over in New Zealand they're pests, aren't they? Possums.
They are.
I think they were introduced in. So I heard once about I might have seen it on a documentary or something of or like 60 Minutes or something, where someone was catching possums in New Zealand and turning them into underwear and evening wear, Lewis. Evening wear.
Are we talking your evening ball gown wear, or are you talking more later in the evening? Right. Oh wow, interesting. Okay.
There's something I could have said there about balls and gowns, but I think we'll leave it. It's certainly more of a more
keep you quite warm, I'd imagine. It'd be for your cooler nights, perhaps.
But for your cooler nights, but it was mainly over. Well, I guess they were covering over the areas that are probably harder to thermoregulate, maybe. So.
I think over in New Zealand they'd be carrier of TB.
They are a carrier of tuberculosis. Yes, absolutely. So as payment for us, stealing Russell Crowe and mental as anything and Farlat, we've sent over TB carrying evening wear providing possums. To our cross Tasman friends and neighbours, Lewis. We're giving us Australians.
Perhaps we should bring it back to a little bit more a veterinary thing. One last thing I think you wanted to talk about was cat abscesses.
Cat bite abscesses. Yeah. Look, so
when do they occur? What sort of a situation are we talking about?
Yeah, so cats will, as a lot of people know, cats have got really horrible bacteria in their mouths, anaerobic bacteria in their mouths, and when cats go out and they get into fights, they'll sometimes scratch, but they'll often bite. And so when a cat gets bitten, the bacteria from the cat's mouth gets inoculated under the skin, forms an infection which then go on to form an abscess and can carry, other horrible things like feline AIDS and things like that, FIV virus.
Yeah, so feline AIDS, just to touch on that, it's not spread like a human AIDS. It's not a sort of sexually transmitted disease. It's spread by biting and scratching in cats that are fighting. So just to sorry to bite on you there. Yeah.
No. So if an infected cat's got FIV, interestingly, it alters their brain a little bit, so sometimes makes them a little bit more aggressive. So then so then they can go out and try and get into fights, so that way the virus wants itself to be spread. And again, with what we were saying before about the vaccinating the puppies, go and talk to your vet, because there are vaccines available for feline AIDS in different parts of the world. Yep. So it's always good to find out what your vet thinks that you should be doing to protect your cat. But I mainly wanted to bring it up because there's some easy things you can do to try and help to reduce down the chance of your cat having bites. And
so most of the fights they occur more evening time, would you say?
Nighttime.
Nighttime,
yes,
right.
Yep. Night fever time, Saturday night fever style.
Back on the
back to the John Travolta again.
We're uploading a photo to the website of John a bit later. So
that's right.
Check it out.
I'm just picturing myself on the glowing disco floor there.
Right.
So cats usually go out and they get up to no good at night. Cats are either fighting or doing something else at night that when they try and love each other in very special ways.
Up to shenanigans.
Definitely getting up to no good. So what I do for my cats, so I've got two cats. I've got Melvin and Parker. They're about 10 years old.
Melvin.
And
the other one?
Parker.
Nice.
Yes.
Right.
Melvin named over for two things. One, that's the middle name of Bill Hicks, the famous comedian, passed away about 15 years ago. Right. Bill Melvin Hicks. But also from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Melvin, where they'd call when they gave someone a wedgie. So there you go.
All right.
That's
right.
And the kids haven't asked how I've come up with the name of
interesting chat.
An interesting chat. Well, how did Melvin get his name, Daddy? Oh,
Stick with the comedian.
I went to school with a Melvin once. Those guys, I get them in at night. So as soon as it's getting dark, they come in, they get fed, and then I don't let them back out again, because I always say to my clients, Lewis, I say, if your cat comes in and you give them their food, you've charged the engines, you've fueled up the batteries, and then they're out and they can get up to no good all night. So, do you say the same thing to people, to get them in at night and then...
Pretty much.
That's
I'll have owners saying, though, I can't get them in at night. And I always say, well, you can get them in at night, you just need to up the ante what the food is. I mean, if your cat really loves a bit of tuna, then bang, start feeding that tuna at 6 o'clock at night.
Yes.
Yeah, and like you said, they come in, the flap gets shut, they don't go out again.
Yep.
Some cats you might say, well, they just meow at the door and they continually meow at the door. Well, it only take maybe 3 or 4 nights, I reckon, where you don't let them out.
Yeah.
And that'll quickly wane away.
Yeah.
You can help them acclimatise that by maybe playing with them.
Yes.
Of a night time, to help try and tire them out a little bit.
Some interaction.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like a feather on a string or some sort of really active play. Can certainly help to keep them in, and then shutting them in, and then don't let them out until it's morning. So fairly sort of standard.
Well, it's pretty simple, isn't it? If they're going to go out and get into fights, then especially if it's happening at night, just avoid it.
Yes.
Avoid it,
because those vet bills are when you got to every couple of weeks you go to the vet with an abscess. It's certainly not the ideal way. And we want to see your cat.
And eventually, an abscess is one thing, because generally treatable, and then once you've treated it and it's okay, you get the feline AIDS, and then you're stuck with that for life.
Yes.
Or something else happens. You get a scratch to the eye or something like that. Yes. Much bigger, much more drama. Hit by a car. As well. Yeah. So keep your cats in at night. It's definitely a good idea. Yeah. Council's not going to come hunting you down then either, because usually a lot of times they get a little bit funny with your cats being out at night. There can be a curfew
in some councils. There is curfew, isn't there? And that's more for the wildlife aspect, I think, in some councils. But obviously it is a prudent thing to do, because, yes, you're protecting the wildlife, but also, having your cat in at night, they're not going to get into fights with other cats.
That's right.
And I think that might be a good time for us to
a good place to
finish up.
Finish off episode 1.
Yes, it's been good.
It's been
I've
great,
enjoyed
man.
it.
Yeah, it's been good fun.
Time's flown.
Time's flown. Yeah, who'd have thought?
Sun hasn't set yet. It's still lovely out here in the breeze.
The beautiful breeze. Yeah, in the shade. You know, hopefully the sound of the leaves hasn't been droning out too much of the noise we've been making.
The old person dropping their books off at the hasn't sort of
riding their bike up. There was the one guy who pulled up before. I thought was going to join in the conversation.
I thought he was laughing at my jokes. Like, gee, I'm actually quite funny. That's good.
I know, yeah.
No, I think he was just off his tree.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I think he's headed back off to the pub with his Angela Lansbury novel. So, all right, guys.
All right, mate.
We'll sign off. So, we're starting this off. So we'll start trying to do pump them out weekly. So give you guys some information. If anyone's got any questions or anything they want to ask us, you can. We'll have the email link down in the show notes underneath, and also links to all of our social things, which will
and the photo, the John Travolta photo of
me
of Robbie. We'll be sure to post that up. So that'll be across all social media. It'll go viral.
With a little rat on my shoulder. Yeah, I go. I call it Little Possum. I call it Little Possum.
Eating a cupcake. That might be the avatar for our podcast.
Our podcast, fantastic. Yeah. Geez, I wonder what this podcast is. The guy with the rat on his shoulder dressed as John Travolta eating a cupcake. Oh, I wasn't quite expecting that, but that's all right, And if you like what you've heard, go on and give us a 5-star review, because then it makes us feel good, and then we'll come back and do some more. So, excellent. Thank you very much, Lewis.
All right, we'll see you next week, guys.
See you next week, guys.
See you, Robbie. Bye.